Alright, let's talk about defending and attacking and defending the second point in freight. Thankfully I memorized to do the blue one first. I made a mental note of that during the last one. I don't know if this, yeah, that was a pop right there. I gotta get rid of that. Microphone's really old. 5 years old actually, excuse me. But back on topic. Attacking and defending the second point in freight. Let's talk about defending first. I'm gonna talk about the medic, because medic is like the core position of the team. Everybody else has to play off of your team's medic. That's how it should be. I can't really talk about how it should be, but that's how it typically is. I'm gonna be more objective than subjective, or at least try to. But yes, you always want to have somebody watching this doorway, because this is the fastest way to get to the second point, as I mentioned in the last video. When you're defending this, someone always has to be watching this. This is a big deal. If you have a sniper on your team, for whatever reason, this is a really nice angle. Another nice angle to have is right here. I don't see this angle used as often, but it's definitely viable as well. While you're defending, you want to have your scouts rotating, watching both of the doorways, checking on them pretty much. But whenever a scout feels frisky, take this. This is the one advantage as a defender of this point that you have over the offensive side, because they cannot come out of this pipe, but you can go down there. So if you have them pressured or whatever, this pipeway right here is your best bet of getting out without letting them know that you've gone out. If the other team's good, they're going to be watching the water thing, the water pool outside, but I'm spending too much time talking about that. Demo Man, almost every time that I've ever defended the second point in this map, my team has defended. My Demo Man has always been overwatching this door. And this is like perfect for stickies, because look at this arc right here. It's just whoop, bam, right there. And when you're looking down from this thing, it's not so bad, but like there's it's just this arc right here, this ramp. It makes it really nice for the Demo Man. It just works out nicely. Anyway, stickies as usual, all the way up here. If you want to, you can put it all the way up there, but it's a nice advantage, because when you're walking in and the gate goes up, you can't really tell, because this metal part right here is in the way of the corner, so you can't really see it. So, very nice sticky trap position. As a medic, the majority of the time that I spend defending the second point is either with my pocket up here, because my pocket decided to go up here and defend this, or I spend it either rotating around here or rotating from here to up and down the staircase. If anybody needs heals, like if my sniper wants to be here, or if my Demo Man is here, he'll just like come over here, and then I'll come out to the staircase, look down, blam, gotcha. Really simple. But typically, as a medic, I hardly ever go over to this area myself during the defensive portion of the second point. Let's see. Is there anything else to defending that's worth commenting on? None that's coming to mind. I didn't really write this down. I'm doing this spontaneously. But yes. So let's talk about the attacking portion of this now. When you're attacking, as I've said several times so far, this is the fastest way to get to the second point. And when you do want to push an Uber, you don't want to have to... It's not good in the long run of your... It's not good for the attack on the second point to use your Uber to push into this room. It's more cost effective to use your Uber when you're pushing through this doorway right here. You want to push through choke points with an Uber. And this doorway is a choke point, but it's a choke point not to the second point. I don't know if that made sense. But it's not a choke point to go directly to the second point. It's a choke point to get to the place that will get to the second point. You know what I'm saying? And you want to use your Uber to get to the point itself, not to get to the point to get to the point. Hopefully that made sense. But yes, when you're attacking, ideally you want to go through here. And because of that, the defensive side, it's very important to be watching this at all times, like I said earlier. Another reason why it's better to go that way, aside from the fact that it's the faster way to get there, is because of sticky traps. That's really bad. Because of the sticky traps right here, the best way to push in, since you can't really ever tell if there are stickies up there, because when you open the door, obviously, like I said earlier, you can't really see it. But because you don't know, because you can't tell if there are stickies on the doorway, you have to push and use your Uber right here. And this is a bit of a long run, about like maybe like a 3 to 5 second run, depending on like if you pause at any point to get down to the second point. And that's about like half, or at least half, at most half of your Uber, typically, is going to be spent running through the doorway and then running down here. And that's not good for business, if you know what I mean. So you want to go through this way. But if you do, for whatever, want to push through here, typically I see scouts and roamers going through here. Mostly scouts, actually. Demo men and roamer and pocket usually go with me when we push in through here and then come out of this doorway. While when we get into this area, the demo man typically rotates over here and then helps out the scouts to kind of clear the way so that they can come through this door, if they haven't already, of course. And then the demo men and the scouts kind of come in through here, put stickies and shit on this doorway right here, come out of this doorway, roamer jumps down, pocket and me, pocket like falls out the staircase, I'm coming down the staircase, falling off of it if I need to, and basically just like dancing around here. The reason why I dance around this area, why I'm in, where I am in right now, is because first of all, the people coming out of the last point can't get in. They can see you visually, but they can't hurt you, which is good. And typically, nobody really ever comes into the second point through right here, so it's not really that big of a deal to be watching it through here. And because this hallway is typically watched, even if they did come up and through here, they would be spotted. And if they try to take this staircase right here to come up and then come at you like this through that path that I just showed you, because this hallway, well, not because this hallway is being watched, but if they do make that move, the people sitting on the point will see it. So it's pretty obvious. But typically you want to be dancing around this area as a medic. Stack the point if you can. Usually, this is an important point that applies to like taking any point or whatever. I want to take a second to talk about this. But a lot of the things that I see happen, especially on the TGBF.TV broadcast that I did a while ago, like a big mistake that teams make when they're pushing into points is they try to go straight to the point. I've made this mistake as a medic myself. I'm touching this cord, I shouldn't be doing that, and that's messing up the mic, excuse me. I'll try to edit it out afterwards. But they try to like go onto the point and then expect to be able to capture it, which sometimes works. It sometimes works, but it's not the best. There's a better option, but you hardly ever see it, especially in lower level things. In higher level things, it works you see it all the time, but you don't really notice it. What I'm talking about is instead of pushing onto the point, you push into the area, kill the team, and then take the point. You see what I'm saying? That's a much better strategy to have when you're attacking the point. When you're pushing in, you don't push onto the point, you push into the area that has the point in it. Your first priority should be to kill at least half of their team before you consciously try to take the point. If you can get away with it, awesome. And those are great plays that you see happen. But what I'm trying to say is, you don't typically... That's not always the safest way to go about it. You want to make the surrounding area as capturable as possible before you actually try to capture it. You see what I'm saying? It's a lot. It just works out better. Trust me. So that's my pro tip for the video. Anyway, back on topic here. Okay, I talked about attacking it. I think I talked about defending it. Because yeah, once you get all of the action happens in this room. If you can take control of this room and push them out, the point's yours, basically. Because from the defensive perspective, when they push in, you either if they push into this room and they do it with an Uber, or for whatever reason you're down in numbers, or you have to retreat. If they push in and you have to retreat, obviously you either go through this doorway or you go through that doorway. Preferably you want to go through this doorway, but on the downside so that you can get back and defend the last point faster. But if you do get pushed back this way, this choke point's a lot more narrow than this hallway is right here. So you want to get back here if you know you're going to lose the point. But if you think you have a chance of saving it, you want to fall back to this point. The downside of falling back to this point as a group, however, is that if you fall back in this way, it takes longer for you to get back to the last point. So if they capture it, so like if you fall back to this point, assuming I would assume that you think you can defend the point and actually have a fighting chance of doing it. But if you fail at defending the point, you have to run all the way back here, and by the time that you make it back here, there's going to be a scout who like goes for the back cap. You see what I'm saying? So the safest option is to fall back to this area. And time's up. Let's go to the last point.